probably hear the kids in the background throughout this whole video, but I've been putting it off and putting it off for a week now, and I just figured that it's now or never to get this out here. So I'm going to warn you all now that this is probably going to be TMI, like a lot. I'm going to try and explain what happened with my recent miscarriage. And yeah, so hopefully we can get through this. But if you don't want to hear the horrifying details, turn the video off now, because, yeah. So, last Monday, September 30th, 2013, was the day I was supposed to fly back to Texas from Florida, because I was there visiting family. And I woke up in the morning and went to the bathroom and found quite a bit of blood. I knew something was wrong at that point, but I didn't know how wrong. So I told my aunt, and she tried to convince me to switch my flight and go to the emergency room right then. But I knew that if I was having a miscarriage, because I was only around 10 weeks, that there would be nothing they could do for me. So I made my flight with 2 kids by myself. The first flight went okay. The second flight was a little rougher. But, you know, with each passing minute, the bleeding was getting heavier. And, you know, at that point, I was like 90% sure that I was miscarrying. But I still had some hope because I had no clots yet at that point. So I got to Texas. Blake picked us up from the airport. And, he called his friend, and we picked his friend up from the barracks where he lives, and we brought him to our house so he could watch the kids. And Blake took me to the emergency room, and, you know, we waited in the waiting room for 4 hours. 4 hours. They were taking kids with runny noses back before me, and, you know, by this point, I was in so much pain. I was doubled over and crying and shaking and...
Can I see you?
Sure, baby. Say hi.
Hi. I'm eating chocolate. La, pizza.
Alright, do you want more chocolate?
Yeah.
Alright, go in the kitchen and get more chocolate.
Okay.
Okay. Where was I? Okay. So, you know, my pain kept getting worse, the bleeding kept getting worse, and about 45 minutes before they took me back to a room is when I started passing clots, like the size of golf balls. And I knew, at that point, I knew it was all over. I was just really trying to hold it together because I didn't want people looking at me and knowing in the waiting room they finally took me back, and by that point, like, when they had me change into the gown and everything, like, I was bleeding everywhere. I kept bleeding through the gown, bleeding through the sheets on the bed, bleeding through all the pads that they were giving me, and it was bad. So they took me for an ultrasound, and they put the wand on my belly, and I saw the baby. And I knew right when I saw it there was no heartbeat. There was no flicker of any kind of movement whatsoever. And, you know, the whole time during the ultrasound I'm bleeding all over the ultrasound table. And when I had first got back to the room, they offered me Tylenol, and I was like, you know, I know it's not going to do anything for me. You know, I'm in a lot of pain right now. So they had given me 2 Percocets. And that helped for about an hour. And by the time we got back from ultrasound, like, the pain was just really bad again. And, you know, it just kept getting worse and worse by the minute. So at that point, they gave me morphine in my IV. And, ugh, it was awful. Like, it made my head, like, super fuzzy. Like, I was just, like, high. I was so high. And, you know, I could still feel the pain. But it's like, because I was so high, it was kind of a distraction from it. And so then the doctor came in, and, you know, they confirmed what I already saw in the ultrasound, that the baby had no heartbeat and clots were being passed, which means that I was expelling the tissue. And here's where it's about to get really gross. So they wanted to do a pelvic exam, and I needed to take my underwear off. So I stood up and took my underwear off, and a clot like the size of both of my fists put together fell out of me and hit the floor. And I'm not gonna cry. I knew that was the part that had the baby in it. That was like the majority of what was left. And, you know, the nurse scooped down, picked it up, and put it in a sample jar so they could run pathology on it and, you know, do tissue samples, see if they could figure out what went wrong. The doctor said that, you know, most of the time we never know what went wrong. And, so, you know, he did my pelvic exam and said by that point that my uterus, or my cervix, was already closed. He pulled a little bit more tissue out. You know, they did a lot of blood samples. And at one point, I guess, the saline had diluted my blood in my IV. So they were considering admitting me because it looked like my blood loss had dropped by half, which I swear it felt like it had. But, you know, they ended up giving me a prescription for hydrocodone and just sent me on my way. And so for like the first 2 days at home, I just, every 4 to 6 hours, I would wake up and take a hydrocodone and go back to sleep. And Blake, you know, he's been amazing holding it together through all of this and taking care of the kids while I was out of commission. So Thursday, I believe it was, I went back to OB to follow up and make sure that I was healing properly. I don't like the lady I saw there. She was awful. You know, I asked her about different things that could have caused it, like my previous C-sections. Was I working out too hard? you know, all this stuff. And she was like, no, okay, it's not that. And I'm like, you don't know my history. You don't know anything about me. You've never met me before. How can you say it's not that? You're not giving me an ultrasound. You're not doing anything. And, you know, we asked her about trying again, and I was like, I want to, you know, probably wait like two months or so. And she's like, look, I just really need you to wait one cycle, okay? And so I just, as of right now, because it's Monday, I want to say like the 7th of October. So it's been a full week since it happened, and I'm just done with all this crap. I'm still bleeding, but it's like, you know, kind of just like a heavy period. I'm not passing any more clots. The pain has pretty much gone down. I don't need the hydrocodone anymore, so I haven't been taking it. Yeah, so we're probably going to wait 2 to 3 months. I just want to focus on healing up and getting myself as healthy as can be for the next baby. You know, I wish I just knew, like, why this happened. Like, why? You know, this is the first pregnancy I've had since, you know, becoming a Christian, and it just felt like a slap in the face from God. Like, you know, we wanted this baby so bad, but I don't know why he was
Help.
you just hit it, baby. See? Look, you hit it and it lights up. So yeah, that's all there is to update on now. I'll probably do another video later about, you know, how we're gonna be trying to conceive again. So yeah, that's it. I want to thank everyone for all the kind words, and thank Blake's unit for sending me the bouquet of flowers, you know. All those little things that have made this whole situation just tolerable. I mean, it's still, you know, a piece of my heart died that day, but with my kids and my husband and all our friends and family, I'm getting through it. Slowly but surely, I'm getting through it. And I'm sorry I look like crap right now, but you would too if you just went through what I went through. So I guess that's it for now. I don't think I'm leaving anything out. OB just wants me to come back like every 2 weeks for a blood test so they can monitor my HCG until it goes down to 0, which they said will probably take a month. So, yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening to me rant. Sorry if it was too TMI.